Happy Friday and
Hello.
welcome. We're back with another live with Biscuits with Bosses, where we get to know leaders in the film and television industry over a spot of tea. But stick around as we dive deep to unpack how we can elevate the future of filmmaking. Because much like our namesake from Ted Lasso, we are leaders. We as leaders believe that we can make a difference in the lives of our fellow filmmakers. And speaking of filmmakers, stick around because I do have a very special gift for my listeners today. Speaking of which, today's episode is brought to you by Production Value Software by Gemini Crown Tech. Link in the chat, and of course, more about that later. And Biscuits with Bosses is streaming live using restream.io, where you can create professional videos, chat with viewers in real time, which we will do with you today, and you can actually live stream to over 30 social platforms all at once. Kind of sick, kind of awesome, won't lie. So be sure to stay tuned as we have a very special offer, as I said. Now, I am your host in my brooding black and amber today, Kay Ross, writer, producer, founder of Owl Echo Entertainment. With me today, as always, our video editor, social media maverick, and my Ed McMahon, Mr. Matt York. Great to have you with us, sir.
Hello. Lovely to be here, as always.
And joining us today is a very special guest, a good friend of mine. I'm so glad to have her with us. Mariannjely Marval is a writer. She's diagnosed with an extreme case of wanderlust and a fierce love of storytelling, which I can attest to. Her work draws from her immigrant experience, blending heart, edge, and cultural insight to craft stories that challenge convention and spotlight underrepresented voices, especially within the Latino community. Her writing credits include Don't Kill the Babysitter, which you all know and love from Lifetime Movies Network, and she continues to develop original features across genres. Now, you, of course, can follow her both on Instagram at Mariannjely or on TikTok, also Mariannjely, which, for the record, I always got the spelling misdone where it's double R instead of double N, so I will forever remember double N. It is double N. Hi, Mariannjely. So good to see you.
Hi. Well, thank you for that lovely introduction, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Okay, we got to start with tippity top. What is everyone drinking today?
I'm drinking green tea.
Ooh.
Green
Nice.
coffee.
It's very matching.
Right? Very on brand. Matt, I heard you ran all the way just to get your drink. What are you drinking today?
Yeah, despite what we were talking about in the green room, I'm actually drinking a Starbucks drink. It's the new seasonal, like, iced shaken oat milk horchata, whatever. It has like 5 words in the title. I got it because I'm lactose intolerant, and there's few things that are marketed with oat milk or almond milk in it. Especially like at Starbucks, I feel like it's mainly just normal milk, and it's fine. It is fine. I'll probably not be ordering it again, but it is not undrinkable.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So
What are you drinking? Go on.
Anybody who wasn't here, like the reason he said in the green room is when we chat before we go live, one of the things that came up was that my original cup was my reusable Starbucks cup. And I was like, nope, I'm not putting it on camera. Not going to happen. For the record, today's a coffee kind of day. So all the times that I'm definitely a tea drinker, yes, I'm feeling the black. I'm feeling the hematite. I'm feeling the coffee. Must make it dark. So I feel like it's a silly question, but like I always have green tea at night. It feels very soothing. It feels very calming. So I'm curious, Mariannjely, like what is it that draws you to green tea as like a daytime drink?
Well, so right now where I am is 3:30. Well, 3:35 now. So I think it's too late for me to have coffee. Or I try not to, because otherwise I will be, just I try to have just coffee in the morning. Tea is always my So let me tell you my routine. I do coffee in the morning, then tea in the afternoon, and then tea again at night. But I do chamomile tea at night.
Yes.
That's just my recipe.
No, I love that.
Like I would say in the afternoon. I started doing it because my mother-in-law, she's from Switzerland, and they do drink a lot of tea there. I tried it once, twice, three times with her in Switzerland, and then I'm liking this. So I also feel like fancy lady by drinking tea in the afternoon.
Look, cheers to that for the record. Like, one, that it makes you feel fancy, so do it. Yeah, I mean, like, why not treat yourself? And it's such an easy treat. But I didn't actually know that about Switzerland. That's really interesting. I mean, I feel like that makes sense, but also I don't want to assume that just because it is very true in the UK means it's true across all of Europe, because that's not necessarily true. Oh.
Well, I have to say, it might not be a Switzerland thing. My mother-in-law is very well traveled, so she in her tea is like Thai tea and like anyway. So she has a bunch of cultures. She loves the Asian culture, and they do drink a lot of tea too. So that has to do with it. So I wouldn't say all Switzerland, but she's the one who got me started. Let's put it that way.
Cheers to mother-in-laws and their tea drinking. Sorry, I feel like I cheered and then I didn't actually cheers. But also, like, clearly I'm in like teenage rant mode, because I'm just like, first off, I'm mad at Starbucks for having a horchata, because they're not allowed to serve a horchata while they're also putting money you know where. So shame on you, Starbucks. But two, like, there is this assumption that the only multicultural country is the US. It's so not true. And I love to hear that, like, your mother-in-law in Switzerland is well-traveled, and so, you know, a woman in Switzerland is drinking Thai tea. That totally tracks for me. Anyway, that was my Rage Against the Machine moment. All right, but I do want to move into some rapid fire getting to know you, because even though I know you, there's always room to get to know people better. And in Ted Lasso form, I know in the past we've done first concert, best concert. Mariannjely, you want to go first?
Is it first concert and best concert?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first concert was actually the Backstreet Boys.
What?
Yes, in Venezuela when they went to visit, the only time. So I'm very proud that I went. And the best concert, it was the Jonas Brothers, because I'm just that. I've always been a fan of the Jonas Brothers, and, you know, just like, that's silly. But yeah, I went to their concert, and that was like a dream come true. But I did that in the US later on. So yeah.
That is so cool. Strangely enough, I think Jonas Brothers was like after my time. So I didn't know a lot about them, but like found out about them once they started like crossing over into the film world. Because I know more about what's his name, who's married to what's her name from India, and she was huge in India, and then she made it here, and then like made a name for herself in American films as well. Yep, don't know anybody's names.
Okay, I mean, I'm like a Disney Channel kid, so I just remember, you know, all those Camp Rock and all those things.
Nice.
Yeah, I've grown up since then a little bit.
Maybe this is just our opportunity to like find our next best concert.
Yes, actually, you know what? I don't know why I said Jonas, because actually J-Lo was the best concert I've ever been. A performer, and yeah, Jonas Brothers was just like a dream come true of my child, you know, child self. But J-Lo is another level of performer. So yeah, no, J-Lo.
Oh yeah, I bet. I remember after she did Hustlers, there was like a lot of commentary about like, how old is she? And she's still doing this stuff? And it's like, yeah, but when you look at the hours she puts in and how dedicated she is to her work, of course she comes not just like fully prepared, but like she just knocks the socks off of you with every performance, because she's so dedicated to delivering that kind of performance, which is really admirable. I'm sorry, Matt, I think I interrupted you. So Ping, you're it.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought I had read a story about J-Lo recently. Or I don't know how long ago this was. I read this recently where like she like speaking to her effort that she puts in, she like flew in to, I think it was like Spain or whatever country it was, and at like 2 p.m. did a show, flew out, and like she did like the Grammys the next day or something, and it's like, and she was able to just like show up, put in 100% effort, and leave, and like consistently do that. And the interviewer or the guy was like, that's like that is the skill of entertainment. It's not that you are like, yes, having great songs is great, and having a great like identity or image is, or brand is fantastic, but it's about the energy that you can bring to your shows, and when you're like, how you can conserve that energy when you're not doing the shows, and that J-Lo should like be like studied on that.
I mean, I don't know how she has so much energy, but I just remember it was in Miami, and it was for her 50s, like she was 50. And she came out from this cake, it was like her birthday tour. It was just such a show. She's changed like 20 times. It was just like, I was so in awe. I'm like, I want to be 50 and be that energetic and that passionate, and just she is really something else. Like, definitely up to her.
And I feel like for those of you who are watching, please know that coffee dates like this in the industry happen all the time. It always seems kind of frivolous to, have small talk or like getting to know you questions like this. But trust me when I tell you, if you only have 1 hour with someone in the industry, regardless of whether or not you want to work with them, you have a very small window to actually like connect with them as a person before you try to work with them as a professional. So since we're here and there are other people on the call, like, let us know in the chat. First concert, best concert, or even like, what's that concert you want to see this summer? Or what's that song you have stuck in your head? Because that's where my brain immediately went when you said J-Lo. I was like, oh, yep. The radio in my brain just tuned in to, of course, now I can't think of the song because I tried to tune it back out. Before I forget, because Mariannjely, the last time I saw you here in LA, I think it was summertime. When you come back, are you a big fan of like seeing a movie with a live orchestra? Like, is that a version of a concert that you enjoy?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Actually, I don't think I've ever done anything like that. But yeah, I like live performance. Theater is what I used to do growing up, and theater is where I come from. So I was like, live performance is just something. It's a different experience, and there's nothing like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to. Yes.
You're in good company. I think both of us also. I know I came from theater, but Matt, yeah, also theater.
I did middle school and high school theater.
Yep.
And my parents had to very staunchly be like, acting is not a thing that should be pursued. And I was like, but I'm in high school productions, I should do it. And I'm glad they didn't. But yeah, no, I love seeing live performances. I think they're just so much better.
I feel like
with the concert.
Go ahead.
Oh, were you asking her?
Oh, yeah. What about you guys, about your first? And
Matt, you go first.
My first concert was Weird Al Yankovic. He's great. He did such a fantastic show. He put on so much energy. And then my best concert, I'm not sure. I guess probably Green Day. They're my favorite band. I've seen them twice now, and their most recent their most recent tour, they played the entire album of Dookie and their entire album of American Idiot back to back, which is like their two biggest albums. And that they're like, we're never doing this again. This is because it was like the 20th. I think it was the 20th and then the 30th anniversary of both of those albums. So just what they were able to bring as a group, and their whole performance, because they have like pyrotechnics and stuff. It was just really cool to be there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Fun.
Mine doesn't have nearly as much pyrotechnics, although I'm going to change my favorite answer. So my first one was always Beach Boys, because my mother took me to like Busch Gardens or King's Dominion, some amusement park where they were hosting this, like family friendly concert. So she kind of broke me in early, so as to be like, this is what a concert is like. Try and keep it this tame again if you can. But now that I'm talking about LA concerts, it's really hard to beat the fact that I have seen John Williams live.
Wow.
Twice. And considering that his birthday is in September, and you may well know that LA's hottest month is in September. And so part of what he does is like a medley of his stuff. That's why I was asking if part of what you like is like actually seeing a movie, because they'll do that sometimes, right? They'll do like Jaws, or they'll do The Shining. They'll do something and then have the orchestra play live underneath, which is super cool, really fun. But no pyrotechnics with Mr. Williams, because that poor man is 90 plus. No pyrotechnics. So I am curious though, just to dig a little deeper with the getting to know you. So Don't Kill the Babysitter, fun film, but what's the rom-com that really inspired you to start writing?
Rom-com?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a rom-com that inspired you. Was there another genre that like inspired?
Don't Kill the Babysitter. The Kill the Babysitter is a thriller, and it's like, yeah. So not too much love in it, but I have to say, I did have a love story that they actually caught, because they were just like, but I love love. And they're like, no, but that's not, it's not a rom-com.
And I think that's why I thought it was so confusing that it had that name, because I remember when you were in development, and I still remember the au pair idea that you have. Phenomenal idea. I think in my mind that everything else on your roster was either rom-com or holiday rom-com. So when I saw the title, I was like, that's an odd title for a rom-com. Totally makes sense now. Well, it's unfortunate that they wouldn't make it more, give it a little depth, because you want to see people get connected before you rip them apart. That's okay. All right.
I think it was more like of a pacing situation. It was distracting a little bit, but I love to write love stories. So that's why I guess after I wrote that one, I'm like, I need to write a Christmas movie or a rom-com, because I was feeling also that I needed to show that part of me. So yeah. So yeah, it's not a rom-com, but the inspiration, is that what you asked me, right? Behind it?
Yeah, and you can kind of do it in two parts. What was the inspiration for that film, but also like what inspired you to start screenwriting in the first place?
Okay. Well, for that film, it was my very first script, and my mentor at the time gave me the advice that I think a lot of us hear of, like, write what you know, what you like to watch. So my favorite movies is like Sixth Sense, The Others. Like, it's just a lot of like psychological things. And so I was like, that's what I like to watch. So I guess I'm going to write something like that. And then I came to the US as an au pair. So I had that experience very fresh in my mind. And even though I had the best year of my life being an au pair, I knew of a lot of different experience from other au pairs of how bad can it be too. So anyway, I was just playing with the idea of like, what if I did not get a great family? And what if it wasn't a coincidence that they picked me, or why they picked me? So I went with that, and the fear that my family had at the time, of me going to a place that I, never been, with a family that I never met. So anyway, Don't Kill the Babysitter is based on that, on going to someone with many dreams, going to a place and realizing that her, pick was not just good luck. And yeah, crazy things happen. So that's Don't Kill the Babysitter. Writing in general, it started for me during the pandemic. I've always written. I feel that I've growing up, I was never able to express myself confidently, verbally. So I will write things down a lot, and I also grew up in a family there you don't talk about things. So I will say I will write my things so I could like express it somehow. Um, so I've always wrote stories and songs and things like that. So when I came to the U.S., I did do acting. So I was doing theater and things like that in Spanish. Because then I moved to Miami and I was living there. So anyway, during the pandemic, I decided that I wanted to just learn how to write in English a screenplay, and I kind of had that challenge of like, okay, well, I have 2 weeks off of the pandemic. Let me just use these 2 weeks and learn something new. And I ended up obviously writing a screenplay and just falling in love with the process. So yeah, I think it's pretty new to me, but it's also I feel that has been with me my whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. And just cheers to the whole journey. Like, cheers to you starting out with acting. Cheers to you finding writing as your personal expression, and then finding a professional outlet. Like, I just love to hear the growth. That's really, really awesome. And also cheers that was like it's like a 2-for-1. Not only were you learning screenwriting, but you were like flexing and getting better at screenwriting in English. Because I'm telling you right now, if I had to write a screenplay in Spanish, like it would take me for fucking ever, because I have like level 3 Spanish. Like if there's 10 levels, I went through 3 in high school and ended there. And mostly I just sit in a corner going, I can understand what you're saying, but I'm too embarrassed to try. So the fact that you even tried is so admirable. Yeah. Party cheers.
Oh, thank you. Cheers. Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I do I feel that when I write, I have to think so much and translate and making sure that it makes sense. That in my head, I'm just like, oh, for someone that is like a native, it must be so much easier. In my head, I'm just like, they probably write faster than me. So, but anyway, it takes me longer, but I enjoy it. So,
Yeah, man. For the record, as a native English speaker and also a writer, not necessarily. Like there are so many roadblocks that can really prevent you from writing fast. So I say that to say yes, but maybe not. Yep, I'm gonna pause there because I can already feel the rants coming, and I'm like, I recently cranked out something. Ooh, sorry. Matt, are you moving your microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. There was
it's okay.
The cord was wrapped around weirdly.
I just heard this like it's like a
sorry, guys.
Mechanical trampoline.
That's about it. Yeah, I was moving it. My microphone is on an arm, and so there's metal springs, that are like holding it, and so but I have the cable wrapped around the whole thing, so it's not dangling. And I was moving it across that because it was getting pinched. But sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. See, breaking fourth wall. I think what I was, if I can shorten it at all, the whole story math thing that I've been doing for the past year, the whole purpose of it is that I like having a process so I can just jump into the process and go quickly through it. But if I don't know what the process is and nobody else is going to give me that like template, as it were, then I have to create one of my own. And especially in production, there's a very clear beginning, middle, and end, and a deliverable. With writing, you could have beginning, middle, and go back to the beginning, or beginning, middle, and end and go back to the beginning. And so the cyclical nature of development just had my head spinning. So I say that to say part of what I've been trying to do for other writers is exactly that. There's probably a roadblock somewhere in your development that you've hit that wall and you feel like do I have the willpower to move forward or do I just stop? And so I'm trying to ensure that both myself and other people don't stop, because it's tragic when you have a really compelling story and you can't get it out the door, and you can't get it into the hands of your audience. So yeah. And that's one of the reasons I have to say cheers, because you made it happen. That's so exciting. Do you mind dishing on how you got the connection to get it on Lifetime?
Yeah, no, of course. Okay, the mentor that I had during writing that first script, he always told me that concept was very commercial. I didn't know by then about Lifetime at all. So he told me about it. I started watching movies, and I ended up writing a draft pretty much with their format. And I after I finished the screenwriting program with this mentor, I just kept in touch with him here and there, would send emails. And then like a year after, he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, there's this opportunity on Lifetime, and I think your script will be a good fit." So and then he kind of explained me how the pitching process worked, just how to write like the synopsis and the log line, so I did all of that. I did a pitch deck as well, and we sent it like to Lifetime through my mentor. So my mentor had a connection. So it's a connection through a connection. And then then they said they bought it from the pitch. And then pretty much it was like another year of, because of the pandemic, they couldn't film. So I really didn't think it was going to happen. And I think one of the great things is that I did it so open-minded and open-hearted that I was not stressing about it. It was my first pretty much encounter with the industry, so I didn't know what to expect. And when it already happened, it was already a year. I'm like, that's not gonna go anywhere. I didn't even know by then really how long it takes. So I didn't have any expectations, and literally one day to the next, he sends me an email. Oh, it's going on production, and so I had a meeting with the director, and we got to know each other, and then the revision process started, drafts here and there. And then next thing I know, they're filming in Canada. So it was pretty insane, but it comes to connections and building relationships, I will say, because I follow up with this mentor. We built a really genuine connection, that it was not just, business. We kind of became friends, and then he thought of me when that came around. So yeah, that's how.
Yeah, man. That is so exciting. And I think that also lends itself to the importance of mentors, is that not only are you looking for, a recommendation on a resume, right? Not only are you looking for insight into how to level up your skills, but if there's a real connection there, if there's a real relationship there, they can help to open those doors as well, which is huge. Yeah, man, cheers to that. All right, I feel like I want to move into the next stage, which is the victory round. So for anybody who has not been here before, or if then you can already start in the chat and let us know what's one victory from this past week that you really want to celebrate. And remember to focus on your effort, because let's say you got accolades, which is fun, but that's also someone else attributing value to you as opposed to you claiming the value for yourself. So if you got those accolades, great, but I'm going to help you celebrate the fact that you actually submitted it in the first place so that you could get those accolades. So with that in mind, Mariannjely, any victory from this past week that you want to celebrate?
Yes. So actually this week I met a screenwriter that we got to talking, and he's telling me about this great project that he's working on, that he think it will be a good fit for Lifetime. And I was just like, hey, I actually have a contact in Lifetime, and I do think this project will be something he would like. If you send it to me, I will definitely pass it along and see what happens. So he's like, oh, okay, great, that would be great. And then he's telling me about him pitching to Hallmark a Christmas movie. And he was telling me how they pass in some of his concepts because they needed something specific. And to make the story short, I said, "Oh, I want to get into Hallmark." So, and I have these concepts, and he's like, "Oh my God, like let's I have the contact for that." So anyway, I'm sending an email for him, and he's sending an email for me. So it's just so cool how, as once again, relationships and people that you just meet might be someone that you can work with, or they might recommend you. So it's just, that was a big win for me, just to have that new connection. And no matter what, happens, it's still really great that I hope to be able to help him as, and if he helps me, that's fine too. But it's like just the synergy and the nice thing that to get to know another screenwriter, especially when I don't live in Los Angeles or New York. It's nice to meet. I'm in Atlanta, and sometimes it's hard for me to meet other screenwriters. Like there's a lot of filming happening here, but screenwriting is like a thing that is really hard. Like I have to find my community, and have met him was just such a great highlight of this week.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's so exciting. Cheers to that mutually beneficial situation. That's really awesome.
Cheers.
And now I wish I had green tea because I feel like I'm hyped up on coffee now. No, guys, if you're not taking notes, I hope you are. Just like highlight everything that she just said, because yes, like when you have the opportunity to help out somebody else and it doesn't like hurt your reputation, do it, right? And if something comes up where someone can do something for you, like it's worth it, right? So yeah, cheers to that. And cheers to your open heart. Like I know that sounds weird, but like so many people when they first enter the industry and they start kind of like getting that traction, like it's so easy to feel skeptical and like create space, and sometimes space means you lose that momentum. So yeah.
And I have to say, the encounters that you have with other people, whatever in the industry, that first impression, I do think is so important. I just met him, and in general, he was just very genuine. Like it didn't come off like he wanted something from me, and he was just, oh, like I wanted something from him. It was not transactional, as you said. Like we were talking about all the things, and that just came, around, and it was just like it clicked, and it felt really nice. Because even though it was the first, like I never recommend anyone to like be like, hello, this is my name and this is my project. Just came the conversation so natural that it just worked, and it was like, recommend, as you said before, build that connection and don't just be transactional. Like, hey, this is me and this is the story I have, because then it's a different outcome, I would say.
Right? Oh yeah. That the stories.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you can also feel it, right? I think sometimes what's worse is when you're at a networking event and because you don't have a lot of time with people, the opening feels transactional. But when you have more dedicated time, that one-on-one getting to know you time, of course, that's when you give yourself the liberty, right, to really get to know that person. And then you can say like, hey, now that I know you better, this was my intention starting out in this conversation, but this is what I think we could possibly do together. And if all we could do is just like stay in touch and help each other out, that's fine too, like yeah. I would rather make every connection a fan first than a yes or a no, because no altogether serves nobody, sorry, for some odd reason, my brain immediately went to mentorship often can even be a drop in the bucket, right? I have definitely been on coffee dates where someone has asked me to coffee and wants to ask me questions. That coffee ends up being an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and I may never talk to them again. But I know that if I reach out to them right now, that I've invested in that favor. And it's not transactional because of the nature of the back and forth. It's actually mutual because I know that it was helpful for me to help them in that moment, but also that I've opened the doorway for anything, any future relationship. I'm gonna stop rambling now though. Coffee's gone full on to my brain. Matt, any victories from this week you want to claim?
Sure. Actually, kind of similarly to yours, I have been talking to a possible new client, and that has been fun, making that connection and figuring out ways that we can collaborate. Earlier in the week, I made an editor reel, which I had never really considered before, but now I have this like 7-minute video that I can send to people and be like, no, I actually know what I'm doing. But like you were talking about, I had met him a couple weeks ago at a class I was helping out at, and so being able to see him and like face to face, and we were able to talk a lot about what he was wanting to do, and my boss actually was my other client who I was there for, talked to him and was like, no, this is like my editor guy, like my social media person. So if this is something like you're trying to do, then like you're talking to the right guy on my team. And I was like, that felt cool. So now it's cool that it's been, I guess, a little over a week and a half or something, and we're still like emailing and just trying to set something up. That's been my victory.
Yeah, man.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers to that.
Thank
Cheers
you.
to the lead. Oh, that's awesome. Mariannjely, you're so great. You were like, I already know that. And I know it's because you've been on the victory round before, but like, I love when people find reason to celebrate. And like, so just seeing you like jump in and immediately go into cheers, I'm like, look, yay, our little celebration. That's so nice.
Yeah, we need to celebrate for each other. When one wins, we all wins.
Yes.
True. Okay, do you have a victory?
I do. So I say it begrudgingly because half of my victories are just overcoming my freaking, the things that hold me back. So little known thing, I actually hate being on camera. I prefer being on stage. My wheelhouse has always been in front, like face forward. So when I go to film festivals and I MC things, I love it far better because I'm in a palpable audience, right? I actually haven't been on stage as an actor in a really long time, but right, that same energy. So having to deal with technology, especially if it's recorded, I hate it. I hate seeing myself, and I hate when I have to edit my face. And this past week, knowing what I have to do in order to continue to level up story math, part of that is having evergreen videos so that the value is evident and people want to keep coming back for more. So I started the first of several videos that are like 5 to 7 minute evergreen videos. It was really hard. When I first saw the edit, this isn't any shade at you, Matt, because I first saw the edit, I was like, oh, I have to watch my face for 7 minutes. So I walked away, and it is very possible that when I walk away, it will take forever for me to come back because of that hurdle. And I gave myself the moment, and then I came back maybe within 24 hours. Again, Matt, you probably know better than I do. All I know is that I had to walk away, and then I came back and I was like, okay, this isn't about me. This is about the message. So just listen to the message. And I was able to do what I do best as a producer, which is get in, figure out, the audience experience and put in those notes to make sure that the message and the order in which it's coming out is clear and compelling. And I got through it, and it's looking really good. I can't wait to release it next week. But So as much as the victory could be recording the thing or outputting the thing, for me, it's actually facing the thing that I have started and getting over the initial like, ooh, I have to look at my face and listen to my voice. Rah. Yeah. Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. I
Thanks,
feel
yeah.
I'm actually pretty much the same. I was like, I don't like to watch even the lives. I probably won't watch this. I just cannot. And on TikTok is funny because I love to make videos of just like silly things or writing things, but I haven't been able to like talk. Okay, and that's like the next level. And people ask me questions and tell me about this and this. I'm like, sure, one day. I mean, no, I cannot naturally yet just put a camera in front of me and let me tell you about this. Like, it's, nah, yeah, that's just a challenge for sure. So I got you.
You know what though? But I feel like those limitations make us better in the other arenas, right? Because I love watching you and your abuela. Because you refer to as abuelita, yeah?
Yeah. So I have my like I just started TikTok as a screenwriter. I do have an account that I won't ever tell, and just people find it somehow, which is just like silly things with my grandma. And that account actually has like 20K followers, and it's funny because I just like as just silly things. But I love making videos with my grandma. That's the most fun thing.
And that's just it. Like half, I think, of what made social media as engaging as it was just like being yourself, like having fun and letting people join in on that fun. So that's why people responded so well to it, right? Because it was just real. So I wouldn't even, I mean, in your own time, if you want to grow in that direction, more power to you. But like, I think what you're doing is amazing. So continue with what you're doing, or if you feel like you really need some FaceTime, do that too. I'd tell you what, speaking of mentors, like it is totally worth our time to like seek out organizations that literally help you to improve your public speaking. As you can hear, I still do my ums. I started working with Toastmasters a few years ago, and it was a really great concept. I have no time for it right now, but like my default is if I'm struggling with online or with speaking, they're the ones I have to talk with because the whole organization is built on polishing your public speaking, regardless of what the topic is. So cheers to Toastmasters. I feel like speaking of TikTok and calling out the things that you do, I feel like a lot of people here are starting to think that you're just a screenwriter. I'm like, y'all, you don't understand. Mariannjely is actually like a serial entrepreneur. Like, talk to me about the businesses you've owned. Like, what are you doing now, even as a business owner? And then like, what are you hoping to do to like bring all that goodness to film?
Yeah. Okay. So I do feel that I have lived many lives. I built a business from scratch with my husband 10 years ago, and my husband is his passion is bonsai, a bonsai artist. He's a bonsai artist, and we created a brand around it. And then we had soil for bonsai trees and fertilizer. And we started with Amazon, but then we grew to Home Depot, Walmart, all those things. So I do have a lot of like marketing, product branding experience. And I have to say, social media was actually pretty big on that. My husband is actually great on camera, even though he is like, I was the actor and he just is very natural. I need a script. He just talks. He can talk and explain things, no preparation needed. So I was the manager. I was putting him on camera, and that really went well, and we built the brand with that. So with that being said, a year ago, we both were kind of like burnt out from it. Building a business from scratch is it's a lot of work. It's very fun, but it's also very stressful. So at some point we both were like ready for a change. And I was also doing like writing and acting on the side, just like as a hobby, was my escape while I was doing a business, building a business. And the business was doing so great. We were like, I think it's time. And we both decided to pursue new things. And we sold the business last year. And now, thank you. And crazy just to think with it. And now we're both taking a year of like, oh, but we're actually just working on our loves and our passions. And I'm full-time screenwriter now. I would say, like, I'm writing full-time, but I also founded Once Upon a Script, which is meant to mix my two loves, which is traveling and screenwriting. So I'm going to be planning some fabulous retreats for women in women writers, and we're going to take all these girlies into fun adventures together, so we can get inspired, we can travel, we can write our scripts and support each other. So I'm hoping to build a community of very powerful women that a sisterhood of storytelling. So that's my next thing. Yes.
I love that so much. A sisterhood of storytelling. I just want to wrap up in that blanket for a minute. Like, it's just so great. Also, I just love that some part of it is with the retreats, because I have done a lot of writing and I've actually never been on an official writing retreat. And I feel like every writer should experience it at least once because of that incubation,
Yes. I mean, I have been in a few writing retreats. So I always was like, in my mind as a business person too, I was like, okay, I think I can do this differently. And I think as an attendee, there were things that I was like, oh, I will have like to do this instead. So that's what I'm pretty much building. And that's what I'm excited that you haven't been in one, because that's why I was like, oh, I have to take you in one. And that's what we are doing in November. So just to put it out there for those women that might be watching right now, November 7 to 9, we're going to go hide in a cabin in Lake Arrowhead in California. And we're going to have a weekend of just storytelling and, as I said, sisterhood, good food and good views. And we're going to write, amazing the next hits. So and I'm so excited that Kay is coming with us. She's going to be helping the group. So she's going to be one of the mentors.
Yay! Which, did I tell you that I was like, so I feel like I need to prepare, because I've never been to a writer's retreat before, even as a writer. So over Labor Day weekend, I'm going to gather a few fellow writers, and we're just going to like rent a cabin, but at Big Bear, wherever is nearby LA, and just be like, all right, what does this writer retreat look like? And again, we stick to a schedule.
I mean, I love that Kay is so humble, but she is such a great mentor, or like a story consultant. It's like in the au pairs, that script that you were talking, I remember all the notes that you gave me. They were so valuable, and you have such a good eye for the story and for the characters, and you just bring the best, I would say, of the story. So I'm very excited. I'm very confident that you're just going to be such a great addition, and we're going to have an amazing time. I'm excited for that.
Man. I really appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I think I don't know that I think of myself as being humble so much as it's not my call, right? Like, if it's helpful to you, then you can say that, but I can't really say whether or not it's going to be that. All I can say is conceptually, I think a lot of writing guides tend to be very technical, very how-to. And if all of your guides they look like lists, right? You just start to check them off. And the only way you have to integrate it into your process is by memory. right? Or by physically having that checklist in front of you. So part of what I'm attempting to do, and I hopefully will have a chance to play with it during the retreat, is it's like teach a man to fish. I'm trying to give you a philosophy and have that philosophy be so much ingrained in your bloodstream that you don't actually need the checklist, because the checklist is in you. It's part of your process. And that's what I hope to do as much as I can. So thanks for saying that. If I can, I'll try. Interestingly enough, part of the struggle of all of this is every time I see really great writers like yourself, and I see what I see, and I can help you level up, there's a part of me that's like, okay, it's my time to level up too. So you've actually been really inspiring for me to go back into my writing process. So thanks for doing what you do and reminding me that, like, I have stories I want to tell too. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna write stories, help other write stories. We all, like, as I said before, when one win, we all win. And that's what I want to foster for sure.
Right. Speaking of winning, I do want to make sure that everybody has all the details on today's sponsor. If you, by chance, are an independent producer like myself or a content creator, then you know how difficult it is to stay organized. Production Value is the only program that keeps all your projects' material together from development all the way through to delivery, including that checklist at every stage to make sure you don't miss anything. And trust me when I tell you, you need that checklist when you're producing. You don't necessarily need it when you're writing. Now, for more information, check out the link in the chat. And just because you are here and you're listening to us live, you can receive 10% off with our special code, which is BWBosses. Just enter that at checkout to get your 10% off. And again, Production Value, phenomenal software, but it is very much intended to help you stay organized and to actually ensure that you have everything before you try and deliver. Because any of those things are missing, it is very possible that you will not be able to actually get that check, right? Like actually get it in the bank. Now that being said, I also want to make sure that we have just enough time, because I wanted to dive just like a little bit deeper, if we can, into like, what are our hopes for the film industry? Because we're doing our thing, but there's only so much that we can really contribute as leaders. And I love, 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 Mariannjely, that you're doing these retreats. So what do you feel you're doing right now to help like level up the filmmaking industry? And what are you hoping the ripple effect is of that effort?
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that there is a lot that have to be fostered in community, and especially in no hate, Matt, but I'm just talking for the women. I do think that there is a lot that we just have to get together and show our value more, like just claim our space. Especially I think, we are living in weird times, and I do want to foster places where women can be empowered, they can be inspired and be reminded that they can do this and they are allowed to do this and they have the same or the same value than men are. So I would say yes, by fostering more conversations like this and spaces where women or just people in general that might not feel confident or that they are doubting themselves even more these days. That's what we need. We need hope. We need just inspiration and a reminder that we can do things.
Cheers to that.
That's beautiful.
And I feel like I just want to come back around to the seed of that, which is community, because I do think that when you talk about like an individual showing up and delivering, that when you're done delivering, if you come back to nothing, then it's hard to start again. It's hard to do it again, because like starting all the way back at the beginning, the climb is so high, right? So part of what community does for you is feel like when you're done, right? You've put so much of your heart and your soul into a project and you've put it out there, and now it's time to rest and recover and prepare for the next. Like you're not all the way back to scratch, right? Community is that buffer. So yeah, I mean, all the yeses, all the yeses. And on a personal note, like, it is so hard to deliver as a female. And it's not because we face anything different as a human. It is literally because the scrutiny that women face is real. Like, I think there's an inside joke that women are perfectionists, and it's not that at all. I think women try to check every box because there's an expectation that if we aren't perfect, it's, I hate saying the shame on you, but it's how dare you? That's the tenor. How dare you do this instead of X, Y, and Z, right? It's like the Cinderella mentality. Like, you have to do your chores, you have to honor your family, you have to be a caretaker, you have to do all of these things, and then you're allowed to finally do the thing you want to do. And then when you do it, you don't do it right. How dare you? You know? And so I part of what I heard when you said it is you have permission to fail.
Absolutely. Funny story. Well, I don't know if it's too funny. Just a story. A producer one time told me, like, oh, I love reading a material by women, written by women, because they're usually 9 out of 10 are great. He says, like, when women send something, it's because they revised that 300 times. They overthought this 300 times, and then they send it. But then you have, and I actually encourage that for us to have that permission of being like a man that is just like, oh, one draft. That's great. That's amazing. I'm going to send this already. So is that a mental thing? Like, women will just think it has to be perfect in order to even be shown, when I think men are more brave. I don't know if risk takers, but just believe in themselves a little more, and they just like go for it. Like, it might not be good, but they think it's great already, and then it goes for it. So I think there is a balance of, like, just also give yourself a chance, like you said, to fail, or just at least to try. Because there are many moments where I will say that even women don't even try. They don't think it's good enough, and then just don't even try. So it's just a reminder, we can fail too, and we can, just try things.
Yeah, man. I have to share this with you, the last like couple of minutes that we have. So I just recently participated in LA Directors Lab. Shout out to Pam for organizing. We're going to screen the scenes this Saturday. And it was a challenge for me because not only was it a medical procedural, but I was coming in only as a writer, not as writer-producer, not as writer-director, just as a writer. So when there was a director that chose my script, one of the things I was really dedicated to was, I want to sit down with this person and really get a feel for what is working. How do you want to play with what is here? Meaning, I'm voluntarily telling you it sucks. How do we want to improve it? Despite the fact that you chose the script. And it was so refreshing because not only did a female director choose it, which was really cool. This is someone who has studied comedy. So writing a comedy script for someone who already felt comfortable in that space, I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. No joke. We did 6 revisions, maybe 7. So I submitted in order to do the lab. I sent version 1, clearly like wearing my white male confidence because I just sent the original scene. And then we had another version after the meeting. And then we had another version after the actors read it. And then we had another version after the actors rehearsed it. And then we had another version. And then we had another version. And the beautiful thing, I think, about that kind of creative process is that if you show up and you're willing to do the different iterations, part of what it breaks for you is that cycle of the perfectionist mindset. Because at no point are you going to get it right the first time, ever. Anyway, thank you for bringing that up. Also, I'm going to remember this forever because I'm like, Mariannjely, you are like my little, like, what is it? Not like an angel, but like a spirit guide. You have literally like tapped into everything that is going on with me right now. And just like, thank you for giving me the ability to like share in community with you for this. So yeah, thanks, man.
Of course, anytime.
I feel like because we only have a couple of minutes left, I want to make sure that everybody gets their special offer because it's Friday, which means tomorrow's Saturday. And tomorrow's Saturday is actually one of our story math workshops. And I wanted to make sure that you all, as a special thank you for listening as part of our Biscuits with Bosses, have a very special discount. So we're going to leave that link right over there. But you'll notice that it is $50 off. That's 25%. It's $50 off tomorrow's workshop. And this is quite literally getting you through the hardest hurdle of storytelling, which is you have a concept, you just want to nail the tent poles of your story. Super, super important, because if you don't know what those are, you try to dive too far into your draft, it's easy to get lost. It's a bit like deep sea diving, and then you have no emergency like cord to pull you back up and get some air. So let's get that infrastructure set for you. It's going to be a wild ride, but it's super fun. And pretty much after 3 hours of a workshop and your assignment afterwards, you have a treatment within a week, which is kind of cool. Yeah. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for being here. Mariannjely, any parting advice for entrepreneurs, screenwriters, or anything in between?
All right. Piece of advice. I will say you never know until you try it. So it's don't be just, I would say, like, what if will kill me one day. Like, I need to know things. Like, if something is in my mind, I cannot be like, what if I had tried that? Or what if I have done that? Like, I need to say, well, I did it and I failed, or I did it and I made it work, but I did it. So we say, yeah, just if it's in your heart, then it's for a reason.
I
That's
love
great.
That. Great. And a quick cheers to Matt for hanging in there, because I know it can be difficult to be the only dude in a room with women talking about women-only stuff. So thanks for hanging in there, man.
I love it. It's great. Love being here.
Thank you for letting us complain. Oh,
I love hearing people complain. I have the job I've always wanted, but I feel like if I didn't do this job, I'd be a hairdresser. Like, I just like listening to people complain and just, like, I don't know, massaging people's heads. Like, it's something about it. It's very cathartic to listening to everyone else and just being like, yeah, man, that's a real issue. I agree with that. I don't know.
Oh my God, now I need to know if anybody was doing anything else, like, what would be that occupation? Mariannjely, do you know that right off the top of your head? Like, I need to know.
Yeah, dog trainer for sure.
Dog trainer, that's great.
Dog trainer.
Work with dogs all day, yes.
I feel like mine would probably be something around gardening, because my garden gives me such happiness. Yeah. Flower arranger, gardener, something like that. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. All right, that was the last little bit of getting to know you guys. Thank you so much for spending your Friday with us. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you guys next Friday.
Yeah, thank you guys.